what a day! What a lovely day!
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate. I'm your host, Nathan Oakley, and if you're new to this channel or you've not done so already, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. Now, I am joined by Anthony Riley as we are going to discuss the many lies in an ongoing saga between Geo Strieber and Anthony Riley. So I'm going to summarise precisely what's happened to date. So back in December, Geo Strieber and Anthony had a one-to-one hangout with supposedly Anthony and Geo Strieber being the only people in attendance. After the fact, based on something that had been said by a completely different person, Jimmy, about the distance to the sun measurement, using the assumption of Venus being the same size as the presupposed spherical nature of the presupposed R value of Earth, we had Anthony go back and check that hangout with Geo Strieber and Anthony from December. Now, upon closer inspection, it would seem that Geo Strieber was being fed by Soundly. Now, we would assert that during the slightly quieter gaps in this hangout, the audio level from the sound picked up from Soundly would be too quiet to be coming through Anthony's microphone, so was certainly coming through Geo Strieber's microphone. And this was put to Geo Strieber, who immediately denied it, and had Soundly, Geo Strieber and Shawn Hufford, the main topic of this particular conversation, help him to conspire to hide the truth of the matter, which was that Geo Strieber was indeed being fed by Soundly in what we've got on a recording, and that recording sounds very much like a contemporaneous conversation on topic between Geo Strieber and Soundly. So after that, we've got a situation where Soundly, Geo Strieber and Shawn Hufford have asserted that the sound has come through Anthony Riley's microphone on this hangout where you can hear Soundly, and that sound that you can hear is actually a hangout from pre-December between Shawn Hufford and Soundly. So that is what has been asserted. Now I'm going to pass over to Anthony so he can explain the story from there, as a challenge has been laid down to Anthony in terms of the very, very difficult nature of actually finding and retrieving a sound bite from a hangout pre-December between Soundly and Shawn Hufford, which is what is asserted has been played in the obvious recording of a contemporaneous conversation between Geo Strieber and Soundly. So with that, I'm going to hand over to Anthony. First and foremost, let's say a big hello. How are you doing, Anthony?
Hola. All
Hello.
is good.
Good.
Oh,
So was that a fairly accurate summary before we go any further?
It was, but I'm getting feedback from somewhere. It could be me, actually. It might be myself. Let me turn myself down a little bit. Right, that seems to be better. Am I still coming through good?
Sound beautiful.
Right, so what visuals have we got on screen at the minute? Is it me and you in the Skype call?
Yeah, it's just us at the moment.
So this, I mean, let's be honest, right? Geo Strieber was getting fed. That's our assertion. It's not the biggest crime in the world, right? We all understand why somebody might do that. But I challenged it because I wanted to see how honest he'd be. And he didn't admit it. So he went back to Shawn and he said, look, we need to sort something out here. We need to make this look a bit muddy. And Shawn's self-proclaimed himself to be audio guy. And he's made the assertion that it was actually a hangout that was being played at some point in the background of mine. And it was my fault. Well, I know what was going on in that hangout. I remember what room I was in, and I know for a fact that I was not listening to any hangout. And if I was, it certainly wouldn't have been a Shawn Hufford or a Soundly hangout because they're both morons. But anyway, that's the assertion. But the problem with that assertion, of course, comes the evidential burden, because if you're going to claim that it was another hangout being played, you've got to show what hangout that was. So he burdens himself with getting that evidence to support the assertion that Geo Strieber was the victim and I was the one that was causing the problem. I vehemently deny this. This is nonsense. I was not listening to no hangout. If he can't prove by showing that citation that he relies on that there was actually a hangout with them words being said, and it therefore appears to be a coincidence only, then the moron's got to say that Geo Strieber was lying, that they were having a cohesive conversation, and I was being duped. Now, they're not going to do that. So I asked Shawn on Hangouts yesterday if he couldn't find his unicorn would he admit that Geo Strieber and Soundly were actually conversing? And are you going to walk past me? Can you do it quick? That Geo Strieber and Soundly were actually having the hangout and therefore did actually lie. So he wouldn't answer the question. He was trying to tell people, or he's trying to tell me, that I shouldn't be asking him to admit any guilt at all because he hasn't found the hangout yet. And I said, no, it's not that. I'm asking you to accept that if you do not find your unicorn, that the unicorn doesn't exist, and therefore Geo Strieber and Soundly were having a hangout in the background, and you've got to admit that them two were lying. Them two have doubled down on a lie, dragged you into it, and at the very, very least, as quote audio guy, you weren't as very good audio guy as you thought you were, and indeed proclaimed to be. You wouldn't admit it. I don't think that's acceptable. So in the Hangout, or in the Google Hangout chat thing, which I'm going to share with you guys now, if I share this screen here...
Oh, before you do, sorry. Is there any chance you can actually show us or play for us what we're talking about? Because there may be people come into this completely cold, they don't know what you're talking about, but if you can play the snippet from December so that people know what we're talking about and it's contextualised. Is that something you can do now? Sorry to be a
So you're seeing it on screen now?
I can see your screen, but is that going to be... Yes, brilliant.
So this is the actual recording that I heard something happening in the background that I felt needed a little bit more investigation. And I think pretty much everybody admits and accepts that there is something